Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Hockey Raiders News and Rumors Rundown. My name is Jim Parsons. I'm here with thehockeyraiders.com. We hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Lots of NHL news and rumors to go through, and we're going to cover a bunch of that right now. Just a quick reminder, though, if you want to get a hold of us or follow us in a couple different ways, you can at The Hockey Raider on Twitter, Facebook.com/TheHockeyRaiders, obviously thehockeyraiders.com. You can join the newsletter and sign up and get the morningskate.io, and that's a nice little rundown every day. And then, of course, there's our YouTube channel as well. So don't forget, you've got lots of ways you can get the content from the Hockey Raiders and the great Raiders here on the site. Okay, let's get into some of the big ones today. The Vancouver Canucks, there's tons of talk surrounding this team about what exactly they're going to do. They can't seem to shake the struggles that they're having. Their locker room seems to be in disarray. People like JT Miller don't know if everybody's buying in. Bo Horvat says it's super frustrating. There's talk about potential trades. There's talk about coaching changes, and the inevitable seems to be that maybe Travis Green will be let go as a coach, but the Canucks haven't made any changes yet. Right now, the big names out there are JT Miller, and there sounds like there's some talk between the Minnesota Wild and the Vancouver Canucks. Now, we're not confirming that there's actually been trade talk. It's moving someone like Kevin Fiala to Vancouver for JT Miller. Only that reports are the Minnesota Wild have reached out to Vancouver and asked about the availability of the player. There's also players like Brock Besser who might be up there. He doesn't believe he's going to be traded, but he knows it's a business. The agent says he knows it's a business, so you never know. Changes are coming in Vancouver. It's just a matter of when and how long this team is going to wait. But the struggle is real, and the changes are probably coming. Everybody seems to think that's just inevitable. At this point in time, who goes first, we'll see. If it's a coach or a player, not really sure. All right, lots of talk in Ottawa about goaltender Matt Murray, who was waived on Saturday. The Ottawa Senators are sending a message to the veteran goaltender that they're not happy with his inconsistencies, his lack of production, his high goals against average, low save percentage. They're looking at using their other two goaltenders and not Matt Murray, and if he goes down to the AHL, it's going to be a real wake-up call. Now, there are teams, potentially Buffalo Sabres, Arizona Coyotes, that might be interested in Matt Murray. It's doubtful they'll take him on waivers because he's got a $6.25 million salary for the next 3 seasons, including this one. But that doesn't mean they won't show interest after he clears and maybe could look at a trade or something like that. But Matt Murray in Ottawa, who knows how long this one's going to last, but he's not played well for the Senators. They know it. He knows it. It's about time that he's getting moved around, and we'll see where it winds up. He could go down to the AHL for a little while. Lots of talk in Nashville about Filip Forsberg, status on what's going on, contract talks. GM David Poile has said that there's some false reports that these two are not talking. That's not actually true. He says the team and Forsberg have had multiple conversations about a possible extension, but they're not anywhere close yet. It's a matter of where they're going to be come playoff time. If this is a playoff team, if it's not a playoff team, they'll make a decision on Forsberg at that time. There is some talk that maybe he's looking at the Duchesne and Ryan Johansson contracts and is looking for something similar, which most people believe the Nashville Predators are not prepared to give him. There's also talk that they're interested in a 4-year deal. He's interested in something longer. So he could be a piece that moves if the Predators are not a playoff team come the trade deadline. It's likely, in fact, that he probably does get shopped around just to see what's going on there. We'll see. We'll keep our eyes on this one and see where Nashville's at as far as the season goes. Still tons of talk in Montreal about what's going on there. Will this team shake things up? Will they move pieces? Ben Sherrod is a player who's going to be a pending free agent that will get plenty of interest. Names like Brendan Gallagher are out there. He's struggling mightily, even though it seems unlikely that he would be traded. The real question here is, what does Montreal do about the fact that Marc Bergevin's contract or an extension has not been done yet? He's not the new GM moving past this season, or he's not the continued GM moving past this season, which means it's kind of iffy to wonder if he should be selling off, if he should be writing off the season, if he should be trying to tank, so to speak, to get the top pick, because he won't be around necessarily to enjoy the fruits of that. So if he gets the number 1 draft pick, he's not going to be the GM in Montreal. So there might be some controversy, per se, about what Montreal is going to do and who should be making these decisions. Until this gets sorted out with Bergevin and his contract, it's unlikely to know if the Canadiens are going to be moving any players anytime soon. Could affect what they do here in terms of personnel going forward. All right, finally, in Chicago, a lot to talk about how much this team has struggled. They have been a little better of late, but they're still kind of toiling around the bottom of their division. They have shopped players like Dylan Strome, but it sounds like the return is not very high. They've had trouble even getting a mid-round pick for the player. Dominic Kubalik's name is out there. Marc-Andre Fleury, obviously, is a player that could be moved if things don't turn around in Chicago. But the real question is going to be what happens with someone like Jonathan Toews or Patrick Kane. If the Chicago Blackhawks continue to struggle and they decide to just start right over, refresh, rebrand, shake the image that they've had so far this season, and really start anew, would you ask Patrick Kane or Jonathan Toews to make a trade possible? Do you move forward with these two? It's certainly questionable when it comes to Toews because of his injury situation and this type of player and he's been and what he could do moving forward. Patrick Kane still has a lot of years left to offer, but it's really kind of a question mark as to what Chicago wants to be. Are they going to be a young team adding new prospects, new icons, new faces of this franchise? Or would they sign their veterans and icons that are there now and wonder what that's going to do for that team? So Chicago's definitely a team we're going to be watching, but look for names like Kubalik, Fleury, Dylan Strome to be possibly out there in the trade rumors. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us this weekend. Don't forget, check out thehockeyraiders.com. Enjoy the weekend's worth of NHL action. If you're an American and you're celebrating Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We'll talk to you guys next week.